advance the cause of peace and justice for both Palestinians and Israelis. Friends of Sabeel North America is just one of several international chapters supporting the work of Sabeel in Palestine. There are chapters throughout the world and throughout Europe and Canada. Once again, ahlan wa sahlan to all of you. Welcome. We have a fun-filled program for you tonight. We have great food, great entertainment, and most of all, we have all of you humanitarians under one roof. You can't go wrong with all of you here. My paper says we will start the evening with the What's Up Big Band, but obviously we've already started with the What's Up Big Band. And in case I missed this, I would like to introduce them. I hope you guys didn't think this about yourselves, but I want to tell you about What's Up Big Band. The band is made up of musicians that gather together to perform music of the swing era. Band members come from a wide range of backgrounds, working and retired professionals in industry and education. Their professional backgrounds range from student to butcher to engineer to educator to scientist to pilot to paramedic to psychologist to musician, and they are all joined together in a common interest of keeping alive the music of the swing era. Thank you so much for being here tonight. You've already started off this night in a beautiful way. We appreciate you so much. I just want to make a few logistical announcements, please. I just want to bring everybody's attention to the silent auction table. At this time, I'd really like your attention because I would like to welcome our honored representatives. Our honored award representatives, Mr. Jack Heyman and Stacy Rogers of the ILWU Local 10. As you all know, the ILWU stands for International Longshore Workers Union. Also with us is Rama Kassim from ARA, the Arab Resource Organization. This past summer, as Gaza was ruthlessly being bombarded, members of the ILWU, standing by its long adhered to principles of an injury to one is an injury to all, and members of ARA could not stand by as so many governments around the world shamelessly did. Together they spontaneously and with determination launched the Stop the Boat campaign in the Bay Area to forbid the unloading of the Israeli-owned zinc vessel in the port of Oakland. Tonight we will be honoring them for their courage and for their success in stopping the boat. Their actions are exemplary of the decades-long courage and steadfastness of the Palestinian people. I know many of you are disappointed, and I'm sorry to say that Miss Alice Walker, whose name was the biggest on our flyer, I tricked you into coming tonight. I'm sorry to say she won't be here tonight to receive the 2014 Desmond Tutu Award, but we are all, you know, you weren't supposed to start dinner yet. Hello? Hello?
It's okay.
Okay, too late. I wanted the award recipients to lead the way. As is customary in the Arabic tradition, our honored guests should lead the way. Please, lead the way. Arab members and ILWU. Ahlan wa sahlan. Itfaddalu. And please eat with health, saha. And I'll stop right now and enjoy dinner. I didn't know people were...
I want to read it to you. Archbishop Tutu, it came from his staff. Archbishop Tutu thanks you for your letter and says that he is humbled and honored that you wish to name the award after him. He asks whether you have really thought it out carefully. If you insist, then he is honored to agree. And if you would remember at the time that he granted us his privileges when he was being widely attacked in this country when he was speaking at universities and other events. So it's really a great honor for us to have this opportunity. The first award is going to be made by Andy Gutierrez, one of our members, and it will be to the ILWU Local 10. Andy?
It is a deep honor to give this award to the International Longshoremen Warehouse Union, ALWU. These folks put their actions where their mouth and where their voice is. They have been at the forefront of what has been happening in the Bay Area. In 1984, they were out there, they heard the pleas of Nelson Mandela and of Desmond Tutu. And they stopped and picketed the unloading of the South African ship and brought to the attention apartheid, the cruelty, the injustice that represented in South Africa. But it didn't stop there. They stopped unloading ships from dictatorial regimes like Chile and El Salvador. They stood in unison and in support of Oscar Grant. And recently, they were at the forefront of stopping the unloading of the Zim ships in Oakland. Without them, nothing would have happened. Now, in that effort, we must pay special honor to Stacy Rogers. To Howard Keeler, who had also been in the earlier 1984. To Anthony Levovich, to Roger, to Clarence Thomas, to Marcus Holder, and to unknown others. Now this union was without a contract at that time, and so it cost these union members wages when they stopped unloading that ship.
All right.
And let me tell you, without them, the picket, the boycott would have failed. It would have failed. It would have failed miserably. So we have to thank them in the loudest possible way. Local 10 stopped, blocked unloading of ships in Oakland. And they did it because to protest police brutality and oppression of mainly brown and black people in the United States. I must tell you that most of the police departments in major cities in this country have been trained in population control methods by the Israeli security establishment. So, we are honored. We are honored because of their social justice activism on behalf of oppressed people, including the Palestinians. The Friends of Sabeel North America is honored to present 2015 Bishop Desmond Tutu Award to the International Longshoremen's Union. To accept this award, Stacey Rogers and Jack Heyman have joined me to accept it. Thank you. Congratulations, you honor us.
We want to thank everyone here for this great honor, and we will hang it up in our Union Hall. Along with a photograph of Martin Luther King, who's our honorary member of Local 10, who received his award 6 months before he was assassinated during the sanitation strike in Memphis. And I wanted to say that this is part of the legacy of the ILWU, standing up for solidarity with oppressed peoples around the world. Yep. And yes, we conducted a whole campaign against apartheid in the 70s and 80s. Leo Robinson, who passed away just a few years ago, was one of the leaders of that struggle in Local 10. But also Larry Wright, who's sitting over here, was one of the organizers of that action. And I did want to mention Herb Mills, who was Secretary-Treasurer of Local 10, who couldn't be here tonight. He's in an assisted living facility in San Leandro. But he was the union official who organized the campaign against the Pinochet dictatorship, where longshoremen in the port of Oakland refused to load bombs for Pinochet. And as far as the Palestinian issue is concerned, I'll just give one little anecdote here, which is, after we did that successful action in 2010 against the Zim ship, the Israeli consulate insisted that they come and talk to the executive board of Local 10. This was unconscionable that we would take such an action. And our executive board, Larry and Candy's son, Aaron, was on that executive board. I was on the executive board. We refused to meet with them. We told them talking about history, last year the action was successful because of people who were newer to the union. Stacey's been in 8 years now. Okay, 12 years. I guess that's not so new, is it? But picket lines mean don't cross. It's part of our 10 guiding principles in the ILWU, which makes us a militant union. And when she saw some union officials trying to direct longshoremen to go around the picket line, she knew that wasn't the right thing to do. And she raised hell with that union official. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Stacey, because I want you all to know also that she was the main organizer of yesterday's May Day event to stop police killings.
Thank you for the award. I wasn't expecting the award. It's a pleasant surprise, and thank you for welcoming me. Oh, sorry. Anyway, I'm nervous. I'm happy to be here and happy to accept this award, and the only thing I can do is do the right thing for my union. So that's where I come from. And happy for prior active members and retirees who are still active, like Jack, who are teaching me a lot. And I just can say thank you. And when that happened in August last year, it just struck a chord so deep. And I just couldn't let it ride. So that's why I thought that's
What's our union slogan?
an injury to one is an injury to all.
The deal honored by having them accept the award. So big and thanks. Okay, as I said, this year we are giving two Archbishop Tutu Awards. We didn't give one last year. So the 2014 award is going to Alice Walker. She has been very active in Palestinian rights, being on one of the Gaza boats, and also serves on the jury of the Russell Tribunal on Palestine. But one comment that she has made in the past that I want to bring to your attention. She said, in describing her upbringing in the segregated South, and then going on to discuss today's segregation in the occupied territories, she noted that the unfairness of it is so much like the South. It's so much like the South that 50 years ago, really, and actually more brutal. She unfortunately is unable to be with us tonight, but she has authorized Jack Heyman to accept the award on her behalf and to say a few words. Jack?
Actually, Alice wanted a picture of this award. Yeah, so I've been friends with Alice for a long time, going back to New York, almost 50 years ago. And the comments that you read about the civil rights movement are appropriate, because Alice, just a few years ago, did an interview, and she compared the flotilla to Gaza as a similar kind of protest to the Freedom Riders that were on the buses going down south to try to integrate the South. They firebombed the buses. I think most of you know that story. And she wishes she could be here tonight to accept the award. She thanks everyone very much, and she's greatly honored. Thank you.
Okay, we now have the Naeem Atik Award for outstanding service in the struggle for Palestinian rights. For those of you that don't know about Naeem Atik, he is the founder and he recently retired as the director of Sabeel International. He was born in the Palestinian village of Beisan, south of the Sea of Galilee, and his family went to live in Nazareth after Zionist troops occupied Beisan in 1948. He established the Sabeel Ecumenical Liberation Theology Center in Jerusalem in 1991, and for more than 20 years, his strong moral voice in opposition to the occupation has reached out from Palestine. He has been called the Desmond Tutu of Palestine. This year's Naeem Atik Award goes to the Arab Resource and Organizing Center for outstanding service in the struggle for Palestinian rights. Here to accept the award is Rama Hassid. Rama, we are honored to award you to the Arab Resource and Organizing Center this year's Naeem Atik Award.
Okay. Can you hold on to that for a second? Thank you. I just want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I want to thank Sabeel for giving us this award, and thank ILWU. It was a collective effort in 2010 and 2014. Both were successful and fun. I think I should become an honorary member because I spent a lot of time in the Union Hall and on the port. A lot of us did. Just FYI. I just want to say that what we did last summer, and in 2010 was a collective effort, and it wasn't just AROC, it wasn't just ILWU. It was a lot of people who were involved, a lot of different communities, a lot of different struggles. We, at that time, Ferguson Michael Brown had just been killed, and we wanted to ensure that we were holding up Black Lives Matter. In that process, we wanted to make sure that the voice and the experiences of Black young folks was also on the forefront, in addition to the Palestinian voice, right? We are gonna celebrate this. We took a break, we're gonna breathe, and then we know that our struggle against Zionism and racism is a long struggle, and we call on everyone to join us in continuing that fight against oppression against all people. Thank you.
History and philosophy from UCLA and studied acting at the Lee Strasberg Theater Conservatory in New York City. Ms. Jaja is best known for her solo show, I Heart Hamas, and other things I'm afraid to tell you. This show toured 12 cities in the United States before making its international debut at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. The show has won acclaim from critics and audiences both in America and the UK. In addition to her work as an actor, Jennifer has produced and directed award-winning film and video projects. Her work has been profiled in the Huffington Post, the Washington Post, the San Francisco Chronicle, and Link TV, to name a few. Named one of Finn Magazine's Artists to Watch in 2011, she is currently living in Los Angeles, and she continues to develop herself as an artist and entertainer. This is an introduction that I mustered from the internet, but on a personal level, as a Palestinian born and raised in San Francisco, just in the same neighborhood as Jennifer, when I saw her perform I Heart Hamas, it was the first time that I ever saw my story on stage. So I thank her for that. And I just want to welcome Jennifer.
And other things I'm afraid to tell you. A tragicomic solo show written and performed by Jennifer Jaja. Tonight's show will run approximately 30 minutes. Before we begin, Jennifer has asked that the audience observe the following rules. For the next 30 minutes, Jennifer would like you to consider the current conflict in the Middle East from the Palestinian perspective. No audience member will deny Jennifer's existence in particular tonight, or the existence of Palestinians in general. Jennifer will not be representing the views or the feelings of the average Palestinian, nor does she have any idea what that even means. After the show, please do not engage Jennifer in unsolicited political discussions, disputes, or disagreements, but you may buy her a drink. To all of the Arab and Palestinian audience members, you are asked to refrain from pointing out that Jennifer's Arabic sucks. And please do not ask her age or why she is not yet married. To all of the Jewish and Israeli audience members, relax. The show isn't about you. It's about Jennifer. And please do not accuse her of being an anti-Semite. In fact, if you Googled the word Semite, you would see that it refers to a number of ancient and modern peoples, including the Canaanites, Phoenicians, Hebrews, and Arabs. And finally, to the rest of the audience, Jennifer strongly suggests you go out after the show and make a Palestinian friend. For tips on where to find a Palestinian in your area, please refer to the program after the show. Please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices. Remember, vibrate is not turned off. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
probably call him. Hey, so I wanted to ask you a question. Like, my boyfriend Milan is like always asking me like, how come you say you're Palestinian? Like, he's like, there's no such thing as Palestinian. But I'm like, that's what you say you are. Right, but then he won't let it go, and he's always like, the Jews and the Holocaust, and I'm like, dude, I don't know, she says she's Palestinian. And then he's like, you're probably lying, and you're from somewhere else. Then I'm just like, why would you lie about that? So, I don't really understand what the big deal is, and like, I don't want to have to keep talking about this all the time, because it's really depressing. So, can you just tell me, like, once and for all, what are you? So I can just tell him. Georgie. Hey, Georgie. I need you to go down to HR and fill out some paperwork. So, Georgie, we were, a couple of us were talking, and we were just wondering, like, what kind of name is that? Palestinian? Whoa, you're not like one of those religious ones, are you? I mean, it's okay. It's okay if you are. I mean, we're all inclusive here, equal opportunity and all. But Sarah down at HR, she's Persian. She's Persian. You might want to talk to her when you're down there. I bet you two would have a lot in common. Considering you're both one of those. You're both. We're cool, Georgia, right? We're cool, right? Well, welcome aboard. Hi, Jennifer. Yeah, hi, this is Pam, the producer on the Viva Mexico shoot. Hi, how are you? Great. So, Jennifer, the reason we're calling is that, the client has asked me to ask you a question. And I guess there's no point in beating around the bush. Jennifer, where are you from? Right, I know you're from San Francisco. That's not really what I mean. What I mean is, what's your background? Are you Mexican? No, Jennifer, I understand that you get cast as a Mexican, but that's not exactly the question. Well, the question is, are you Mexican? What do you mean, not really? Jennifer, you're either Mexican or you're not. But you're not Mexican? Well, what are you? What are you, Middle Eastern? What kind? Palestinian? Jennifer, that's not even close. No, we cannot use you for this shoot. I need to talk to your agent right now. Why? Because this is an ad for Mexican tourism, Jennifer. We need a real Mexican. No, not just someone who looks Mexican. No, Jennifer, it does not. Because I will know, and the client will know. Jesus, I can't believe you've wasted everybody's time. Come on, Jennifer. Palestinian? So, what am I? That seems to be the question on everybody's mind these days. I am a person, a very sassy person. I'm a woman, an actress, a comedian, a San Francisco native. I'm 5'4", I'm a scotch drinker. Oh, but that's not what you really want to know when you ask me, what are you, right? You want to know where I'm from, that I'm Palestinian, and then maybe how I feel about that, or more importantly, how you feel about that. Am I a Muslim, a terrorist, an Islamic fundamentalist? Do I hate all Israelis? Am I oppressed by the men in my culture? Do I know Osama bin Laden was on the flotilla? Do I drink Osama bin Laden? How many guys Muhammad do I know? Do I have sex? Eat bacon? Wear a burqa? And that just leads to more and more and swallow version. Kind of like great flavored medicine. So tonight I'm going to stop doing that, try to make you guys feel comfortable. Oh, I'll still answer your questions, but tonight I'm going to give you the answers I want instead of what I think you want to hear. So tonight we're going to play a game called Ask a Palestinian. And this is how it works. You're all going to think about all the questions you have for me. And then I'm going to disregard them and answer the questions that I would like to answer. So, up top, gentlemen in the back, I can tell what you're thinking and know there will not be any belly dancing in this show tonight. Get your mind out of the gutter, you're sitting next to your wife. Oh, what's my name? It's Jennifer. What's my real name? My real name is Jennifer. Jennifer Ann Catherine. And no, that's not a strange name for a Palestinian, sir. There are Palestinians with all sorts of truly horrible names. Like Tiffany and Amber and Melanie and Heather. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But Ann is my middle name because my father had something for a woman named Ann before he met my mom. Which is completely creepy. I can't believe she let him get away with it. And Catherine is my confirmation name. Confirmation. It's a sacrament. It's Christian, Catholic, to be precise. I think we're on board. Oh, over there, no. No, we did not convert. Sorry, there are Christians in Palestine. It's the Holy Land. The birthplace of Jesus. You're familiar with Jesus? No, not the guy who cut your grass. The founder of the Christian faith. Right. I mean, he was born in Palestine. In fact, if you think about it, Palestinians are kind of like the OG Christians. I mean, we've been on this Christianity train since the beginning. So I don't know why it's become about like the Pope, televangelists, the Christian right. No, Kirk Cameron. We were on this Christianity train when you all were still living in caves. Right. Give us some respect. You've been holding it down for centuries. You're welcome. So what part of Palestine am I from? And why is there so much feedback? I don't know. I don't do tech. The part of Palestine I'm from is I'm from Ramallah, which is, there's a people know. It's a big town. It's in the news a lot. You may have heard of it. It's in the eastern part of the country, in what's known as the West Bank, which is strange since it's in the east, I know. But I wish I had a map, but there's no tech person to bring that up. So I'm just going to tell you about the founding of Ramallah instead. So Ramallah was founded in the 1550s over the dispute of a marriage of a teenage girl. East of the Dead Sea, there lived this Christian community surrounded on all sides by Muslim tribes. Now, the Christians got along well enough with their Muslim neighbors because of their diplomatic skills and economic power. It's the truth, money talks. So one night, Sabra, the head of the Christian clan, holds this banquet to celebrate the birth of his child. He invites all the heads of the Muslim tribes. The emir, the head of the strongest Muslim clan, finds out Sabra had a daughter and asks for her hand in marriage for his infant son so that the two most powerful families in the area can unite, creating one super family. Not like, current times monarchies. So the two shake on it. They agree, sure, we'll do this, marriage uniting families business for economic reasons, and fast forward, 13 years later, the girl reaches marriageable age. The emir sends his emissaries to fetch the girl. Sabra had not really taken this marriage plan seriously. He's like, come on, man. No, I'm not really into this. He sends a message to the emir. I'm not really going to marry my Christian daughter to a Muslim man. All right, I'm not sure he sounded like that, but anyway. You get the picture. The emir didn't like this. He's like, dude, a promise is a promise. We shake on this. Sends his emissaries right back to fetch that girl. Sabra, I'm not marrying my Christian daughter to a Muslim man. So, the emir decides to take matters into his own hands. Kills all of Sabra's livestock. Sending a message. Sabra. I don't know if you guys know anything about Middle Eastern men. A little bit proud. Don't always make the best choices. Sabra says, fine. I'd rather lose my property than my family. Take that. The emir kidnaps Sabra's 2 sons. Sabra, not the brightest bulb. I'd rather lose my family than my honor. Dude, come on. The emir takes Sabra's 2 sons, ties them to boulders, and rolls them down mountain, killing them. He then threatens to murder Sabra's entire family, and this marriage does not take place. Sabra finally gets a clue. Sends one final message to the emir, inviting the emir's entire family to a banquet that night to celebrate the marriage. The emir's family shows up. They're like, yeah, that's right, respect, man. Sabra's family surrounds them, seemingly there to welcome them. And Sabra's family all draw their swords and murder the emir's entire family. At that point, Sabra and his family clearly have to flee. So they pack up everything and head out in the dead of night, traveling west, eventually settling the town of Ramallah. And this is how my parents' hometown was founded. All over the interfaith marriage of a 13-year-old girl. So, I'm going to pull up a chair for this part. Because I feel like it's a little bit confessional. I'm sleeping with a Jew. Yeah, his name is Judah. And I'm kind of crazy about him. It's like, you know, that obnoxious, embarrassing, like, baby talk in front of other people, and like touching and petting, and I know what you guys are thinking, and it's not really like that. Like, it's not some kind of textbook psychology stereotype where, like, the self-hating, oppressed person falls for their oppressor. No, I'm not reacting to some sort of trauma. No, he's amazing. He's soft and cuddly and warm and loving. He's black. All right, I mean, Nick's black and white, but he's got this fantastic hair. And he's like lean and really masculine, and he brings me gifts all the time. Like, okay, whatever, they're not things that I would ever want, but I mean, it's a thought that counts, right? And like, you know, I like to take care of him. I feel very maternal towards him. I want to feed him. I want to bathe him. I know that's a little weird, but I do. And then we sit on the couch and watch The Mentalist. Like, it's great. And you know, I don't need to pay David inherited the cat, but he travels so much for work, he can never take care of him. And so I offered to cat sit him for a few months. Oh, which turned into, David, this is ridiculous. You need to pick Judah up this week or he's mine. Jen, you know I can't do that. Fine, then he's my cat and you can't take him back. Hey, all right, look, that was my mom's cat before she passed away. You know what, dude? I don't mean to be insensitive, but he's been living with me for over a year now. All right. Let me call my mom's family in Israel and see if they're okay with me having the cat. What, your mom's family in Israel? Why would they be okay with me having the cat, David? Is it because I'm Palestinian? No. Maybe. Yes, but just give me a couple weeks. No, you know what, David? You have until Friday to decide. And if I don't hear from you, Judah is mine. Oh, and by the way, have you sent me Judah's cat support check yet? Because I didn't receive it this month. And you know, Judah's gonna have to start eating that cheap cat food from the corner store. Because I can't afford to keep paying for a cat that's not even mine. I need to hear from you by Friday. Bye. I went to the stupid corner store. I don't even know if they have cat food in it. Annoying Palestinian man there. Is this the only cat food you have? Yeah, it's good stuff. My cat eats it. I didn't know you had a cat. Did you see the pictures of my cat Susu in the car? What's your cat's name? Judah? Why your cat have a Jewish name? He's Jewish. How a Palestinian woman have a Jewish cat? I inherited him from my friend who's Jewish. He's your cat now. Change his name. I can't change his name. His name is Judah. He responds to that name. It's not right. Change his name. Give him a good Arabic name like Liver. I'll think about it. Not married yet? Can you just ring me up, please? I don't understand why everybody is making such a big deal about his name. Well, I don't think he cares what his name is. Change his name to at heart for you tonight. We wanted to keep it light. But I'm also doing comedy. I'm one of the few Palestinian American voices that is trying to talk about issues in a comedic way, presenting kind of the Palestinian perspective and the Palestinian voice on the stage. So I really appreciate your support this evening, and I want to thank Sabeel for inviting me and for having this wonderful event. And I